Welcome to the 2020 Convocation as we officially and remotely launch the 53rd academic year at Greenhills School. It would have been easy for us to just ignore an event like this amidst a global pandemic and our subsequent inability to gather together as an entire community, but such rituals are perhaps even more important than ever for communities such as ours, a time to reflect upon the values and the mission that distinguish us. We do this in a formal way to celebrate the seriousness of the occasion, and maybe some of you have joined me in dressing the part, but I suspect most all of you are in shorts and a t-shirt or your pajamas still, and have already put this on the short list of reasons why you're thankful for remote learning. So why engage at all in this ritual with quite a different tone than the rest of our Zoom meetings? It's not only to honor the work of those who came before us and the work we will do together this year, and it's not just to underscore the seriousness with which we should approach our work and demonstrate our values. The reason simply is in the word, convocation, from the Latin calling together, translating the Greek ekklesia, a group of people formally assembled for a special purpose. It is our togetherness, not our separateness, which is being celebrated, our shared sense of belonging to something bigger than our individual selves or our individual accomplishments and their attendant accolades. This convocation is essential as we are necessarily separated from one another. The opening of the 2020-21 school year also marks for many of you the formal beginning of your academic lives as students at Greenhills School, and the teaching lives of 7 new faculty members. A special welcome to our new students, colleagues, and friends. And a hearty welcome to Greenhills School's Class of 2021, up to the challenge of modeling for your younger schoolmates the values stated in our mission and those that will be expounded upon by your classmates in a few minutes. May the formality of this remote ceremony underscore that challenge. In just 9 months, you will be walking across a tented stage to the applause of your family, friends, and teachers, and I will have the great honor of handing you your diploma. It won't be given to you, it will be conferred. You won't just get it, you will have earned it, as will your schoolmates in 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. When that day arrives for all of you, your teachers and I will have determined not only that you have completed your course of study, not just that you have met the prerequisites for earning a Greenhills diploma, you will have earned your diploma because we believe you have, as our mission statement reads, successfully realized your full intellectual, ethical, artistic, and athletic potential in preparation for college. It bears repeating and acknowledging and embodying every time we are together in every one of our activities on and off this campus, in person and remotely, that our mission doesn't end with preparing you for college. That's just a step in the process toward what we state very clearly as the reason for our existence as an institution and as human beings: to be curious, creative, and responsible citizens who respect all individuals and their differences, whose meaningful and balanced lives will better the world. I'm looking forward to learning from all of you what that looks like, both during our time apart and when we gather together again. I'll be supremely interested in how we teach and learn to best help you become the best versions of yourselves, and for you to help our school become the best version of itself. Many thanks to Edwin, Meghan, Arjun, Jordan, and Makayla for starting that process again this year. My very best to all of you on behalf of the faculty, staff, and Board of Trustees as we begin the new school year unusually, historically, and joyously.
Welcome to Convocation. I'm Arjun Purohit, Senior Class President. This is my first time back at Greenhills since last March, and entering the building, I accepted a certain sadness and nostalgia, but also an uplifting surprise. Having attended the school since 7th grade, this is a place that felt at once familiar and yet unfamiliar. And it's really the little things that we all miss. The satisfying sound of an expo marker on a whiteboard. Teachers struggling to use the clever touch. That one kid who has to get his pencil sharpened to distract the entire class during a test, that would be me. The overly loud, anxiety-inducing door shuts, getting scolded for leaving your backpack on the hallway floor, battling for Chef Joe's clam chowder, asking teachers, "Can I go to the bathroom?" To which they inevitably respond, "I don't know. Can you?" But right now, I speak from the Campbell Amphitheater, usually a place of renewal, where we celebrate new 6th grade faces and a fresh incoming senior class. It's here, where students share their accomplishments, 8th graders hijack the lyrics to our anthem, phones get confiscated by teachers, Mr. Fayroian's iconic speech about a penguin and an egg. Ah yes, the good old days. In the past, you would see a set of seniors marching down the steps to this stage under triumphant classical music, and now a much better alternative, me. I expected our theater to be empty today, but rest assured we have followed the MLB and NBA model, so there are now cutouts of the faculty members staring right at me, so I don't really feel all that alone. Hey guys. I still remember my first convocation when I was in the 7th grade on the first special dress day in 2015. I remember coming to school in shorts, realizing that I had completely forgotten to dress up. And the last thing that I wanted as a new student was to feel different from everyone else. So I freaked out, rushed back home, found one of my dad's ties that literally reached my knees, and eventually made it back to school. By then I was around 10 to 15 minutes late, but when I entered through the theater doors, I didn't really know where I was, and somehow ended up in the middle of the procession of seniors as they marched toward the stage. And so you could literally see these well-kept, admirable seniors walking before proud parents, students, and faculty. And then this random 11-year-old strolling right alongside them, getting the look from every adult in the room. I'd like to say this is my first inauguration, if you will, into the senior class, but saying so would probably not be true. Nevertheless, those middle schoolers in that audience are now seniors. And at the time, it seemed like a distant reality for us. We've usually lived in the comfort of others having the responsibility to be student leaders, role models, mature, independent thinkers. And now it's supposed to be us, the class of 2021. We ultimately know in our hearts, though, that we have been prepared to rise to the occasion. The beginning of our senior year, the last first week of Greenhills for us, the beginning of the end of school. And so as we start a new year in these bizarre times, figuring it all out together, I've been thinking a lot about what actually matters. It's time. Time is our most valuable commodity. This moment, when we've been more sensitive to the fragility of basic human life, is an important reminder for us to savor what we have, hold on to our friends, consume as much knowledge as possible, confront challenges with enthusiasm, and make this year count. Because pretty soon it's going to be you, the middle schooler or underclassman, wondering how you became a senior. I've learned that Greenhills is not an easy journey, but it gives you resilience and prepares you to assert yourself and overcome adversity. So let me end by quoting Chadwick Boseman, who said, "I don't know what your future is, But if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. I hope to see you all in the hallway soon. Thank you.
As students, one thing we can always do is ask. Whether you're unsure or just curious, asking questions inevitably leads us somewhere. Greenhills is a place where our teachers are excited to answer us, where there are no bad questions, and where our teachers love to see our curiosity expressed in classroom discussions or in one-on-one meetings. Asking is a power that our teachers love to see us exercise. But before we can ask why or how, we have to feel comfortable enough to do so. The beauty of Greenhills is that our teachers really make us feel comfortable. The intimacy of our small community is no accident. Teachers go out of their way to know our names, even if you've never had a class with them. And they greet us in the hallways and congratulate us for whatever we're involved in outside of class. Our teachers are truly invested in the whole student. Another way that our teachers are truly exceptional is how they take extra effort to design classes where we can learn things just because, whether or not they align with some arbitrary standard curriculum. It's hard not to be intrigued when you see the syllabus for Dr. Lupton's physics and you see a sentence like, special relativity and an introduction to quantum mechanics are included as time permits. Even more so when you see how excited he gets when we learn about those interesting topics. I could go on about what makes our teachers so special, but during my time here, I've come to realize that the community of students is just as vital to maintaining the fulfilling academic environment. I'm always impressed by the questions my peers ask in class, always questioning why, things that I never even think of. I'm also impressed by how my peers pursue their own academic interests deeply. Being surrounded by you all is inspiring. You're motivated to do your best because you can't get complacent in such a driven environment. However, the most special thing about our Greenhills student body is how we collaborate and look out for each other. Whether it's helping a friend with their homework, showing the new kid to class, or advising your peers on what classes to take, we students have managed to cultivate a welcoming and auspicious environment. To wrap up, some advice I would give younger students, with my own younger self in mind, is to never be scared to try something new or to take a hard class, to ask that question that feels dumb, and to approach that teacher that you mistakenly perceive as being scary. I promise it's just an act if you have a scary teacher, because all our teachers are so nice. Lastly, never stop being curious and asking questions. I can't wait to see where inquiry leads us. Thank you.
When I was 2 years old, my parents bought me a little basketball hoop to play with in my room, my first introduction to basketball. Fast forward a few years to elementary school, where I would much rather race in the street and play Foursquare and Lightning than anything else. And finally, jump to this moment, where I and my fellow student athletes of the class of 2021 have reached the last of our high school sports seasons. Finally, we have reached the year where we get to experience senior night instead of preparing last-minute posters for it. And that thought is just as saddening as it is rewarding. As we athletes look back at some of the most cherished moments of our high school memories, they are filled with rowdy bus rides, meets that last until midnight, and get-togethers after a sweaty, punishing 2-hour practice that felt like 5. And for the whole ride, we had our teammates right next to us, pushing us to be better, serving as role models, and, of course, complaining about the workout just as much as the rest of us. Teammates are the greatest thing athletics gives us because through this family, each member passes one of their unique traits down to us: patience, perseverance, strength, laughter, stability. I've learned each of these from past and present Greenhills athletes, and I'm so grateful for all of them, as well as the coaches that have dedicated their time to making each of us a better player and person. But what does being a Greenhills athlete really mean? It means walking down the Griffin Den hallway, seeing case after case of towering trophies from past Greenhills champions. It means looking up at the record board saying to yourself, one day, my name will be up there. It means looking up into the screaming Spirit Week crowd after making a good play, a great pass. And most importantly, it means passing down the baton to the next class of champions. While the sports we do may differ, the one thing that remains constant is our grit. Greenhills athletes have withstood detrimental injuries and bounced back even stronger. We've gone through tough seasons, but kept our spirits and levels of play high. We've had our seasons canceled, but found ways to stay connected to our sports and teammates. For each hurdle that lies before us, we can rely on the lessons of resilience athletics has taught us to get over it. And as we turn onto Greenhills Drive, chanting the victory fight song one last time, our grit is unapologetically fervent. Though I do apologize to our amazing bus drivers, Terry and Bobby. Because the green, white, and blue that we represent in each match, tournament, game, or meet has become just as much a part of us as our sports have. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan, and I am extremely honored to be speaking today on behalf of the arts at Greenhills. The arts are something that everyone at Greenhills will experience in one way or another, regardless of whether or not they are directly involved. From play or musical previews to seeing the jazz band perform during assembly, from seeing artwork in the hallways to overhearing a choir or orchestra rehearsal, everyone experiences the arts at Greenhills in many different ways. The arts are an essential part of Greenhills, and they are essential to our understanding of the world. The arts have impacted our grade in many ways. Many of us have been involved in classes in the arts, or in theater, forensics, Battle of the Bands, Greenstock, and countless other events. All of these experiences have caused us to learn something new about ourselves or about a new topic. They have led us to make friends and support each other, and they have also led us to find things that we love. The arts have also led many of us to feel more confident. Through all of the performing I have done in theater and forensics, I have gained so much confidence in myself and my abilities. And I'm sure that in saying this, many of my classmates would agree that they have had similar experiences. However, even though everything that I've mentioned so far is fantastic, my all-time favorite thing about the arts at Greenhills are the people. The friendships I have made through the arts will last a lifetime, and I've learned a lot from my peers and my teachers. The great thing about the people in the arts here is that everyone is extremely supportive of everyone else. Everyone is there to cheer you on when you succeed and support you in any way you may need it along the way. From personal experience, I can say that the arts at Greenhills have literally changed my life. When I first started out at Greenhills in 6th grade, the idea of putting myself out there in any way was honestly terrifying. I was shy and quiet, and even though I really wanted to try new things like singing or forensics or performing in a theater production, I was too terrified to do so. Finally, some friends of mine started convincing me to try some new things, and since then, I've never turned back. Although this is not everyone's experience, it is the experience that many of us have had. And if you haven't done much in the arts before, I suggest that you pick up an instrument or audition for a play because you never know what you might learn about yourself. I learned that, for me, the arts are an essential and an amazing part of my life. Regardless of anyone's experience with the arts, I know that all of us would agree that we are proud of the art we have created during our time at Greenhills. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Especially right now, service can seem particularly challenging, even impossible. I often feel like I am never and will never be doing enough, so being asked to speak on service is a bit tough for me. I just quickly want to highlight that although I am talking about service today, my peers in the class of 2021 and many others at Greenhills have done and continue to do incredible service without recognition, and I am inspired by so many of them. The Greenhills Service Department is truly remarkable. In addition to the fabulous Mrs. Friendly, the director of the Service Learning Department, service here is driven by passionate, forward-thinking students. students who find places where even at a somewhat small school, we can make a significant impact. Programs like Detroit Day, A2Y Day, T-Wall B-Ball, Service Ninjas, SOAR, blood drives, and Motor City Saturdays provide an incredible foundation of service for the Greenhills students. These programs should inspire us to find service that is meaningful and personal, and to carry that into our lives outside of school. And although service at this time may look different, there is still so much you can do, even from your home. Begin by educating yourself. You may or may not be surprised how quickly what you discover will turn into a call for action. Ask yourself the question, what do I have that others do not? Use those answers to help guide the actions you take, the organizations you partner with. Something I really want to talk about is that service can seem really overwhelming. The pandemic has not only drawn attention to the racial, social, and economic inequities deeply rooted in our society, but it has worsened them. And I know that as young people currently spending so much of our time at home, it is so easy to feel powerless. Please, do not underestimate yourself in the value of your actions. Change can happen at any level, and to create change, we must start from the ground up. With that said, I find myself asking the questions, where can we start? And what can we do that actually makes a difference? I think that we can start by acknowledging that our individual actions will not and cannot fix our world's surplus of problems, and that is okay. Countless people have dedicated their entire lives to improving our world, yet there is so much more to be done. But that does not mean that the small things we can do don't matter, because they do. If you make one singular person's day better, you are doing something, and that something goes a long way. So if you are struggling with where to start, I encourage you to begin with 5 actions of kindness a day. And no, these will not fix the many structural problems that overwhelm our world, but this process will hopefully open your eyes to how good doing good can make you feel. My hope is that that feeling will not only inspire you to continue to be kind, but that it will also help give you a more personal connection to service. What I would like to leave you with today is a quote from John Lewis. He said, "When you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have to speak up. You have to say something, you have to do something. The world we live in is not right, not just, and not fair. So speak up, say something, do something." Thank you.